Hello and welcome to Combat Clash, where the top 50 players in the world duke it out on the ranked ladder and compete for that number one spot. Today's match takes us to Relic River, and on the orange side, we have May playing the Delhi Sultanate, and on the blue side, we have Beasty playing the Ottomans. A couple standout points here for Relic River. We are possibly, as always, on a hybrid map like this, there is going to be the potential fight over the fish. So, bottom third of the map on this river does have a handful of shoreline fish. So, potentially going to be looking to see some sort of competition for that if either player or both opt to go for it. Otherwise, all of our relics here are going to be lined up right along this river itself. So, everything's right in the center of the map. Lots to contest for. Given that we have a Delhi and Ottoman, I would very much expect to. I would assume Delhi is likely going to take the advantage here, just as they are able to get those feudal age monks. And, essentially the moment they hit castle, they can already have all their monks lined up as long as they are protected. So, Sheep War at the moment, looking about even, Beastie favoring Beastie by a couple. We'll see quite how it ends. But Beastie decided to take a trail up. Meanwhile, May is coming back down, maybe going to get some more of these sheep on the bottom side of the map and on his side. We have otherwise pretty standard openings across the board, I would say, from both players. Delhi does have the very unique mechanic of all of their technology being free. It just takes significantly longer to tech up. So it's one of the reasons why you see this mosque coming down so quickly in the Dark Age, as it allows him to start taking these extra techs. Efficient production, right? This is a staple of the Delhi faction. It allows them to garrison scholars inside of military buildings, which bumps up the production speed. And we have our first military school coming down for Ottomans. So, Dark Age, we'll see one or two spearmen come out, and then once he hits feudal, we will very likely see a switch over to Sipahi, as they are such the staple unit of the Ottoman forces in general. And it does look like at the moment quite a fair, let's see, yeah, I would say a fair advantage on the sheep side over to Beastie here, who managed to get I'd say about 11 or so. Meanwhile, about 7 for May. So he's going to be following behind BC Scout here. Not likely going to be picking any more sheep up that I can see. Beastie, meanwhile, may be lucky enough to grab 1 or 2 more. He's got a couple on the edge of the map here on his side. Oh, and actually up top as well behind his base. So there's still a handful of sheep out and about, but overall, it's definitely a win for Beastie in the Dark Age. And we'll see nothing out of the ordinary. Dome of the Faith coming down, pretty standard Delhi play here. This is going to allow this is, basically a mosque landmark. This is just going to allow for him to get even more of these techs faster. There's quite a few unique techs for the Delhi at mosques. So there's a lot for him to take advantage of here, and he wants to get them as soon as he can. And Twin Minaret Medris going down for Beastie. So pretty standard openings on either player. The Minaret here is going to provide effectively a permanent food source, albeit not a ton, but any permanent food is always a nice choice for either player. And we have our first spearman coming across the map. Probably just gonna poke around, see if maybe he can discourage some form of economic gathering, but I think it's going to be about unlikely with just a single one, especially at the rate that these guys get produced from the military school. So we do have a stable coming down for Delhi. Very likely we're going to see some Ghazi on Sipahi action this game. Ghazi Raiders, another fantastic feudal age horseman replacement. Really, both these factions have arguably some of the best horsemen in the game on both sides together. So first Ghazi coming out should at least be able to handle this one-on-one here with the spearman. But at the moment, yeah, okay. So he is going to start trying to poke at and push these villagers off. But unfortunately, this happens just as a Ghazi Raider comes out. So he's going to be able to protect his villager line for the time being. Lots of upgrades coming out. And surprisingly here, we have no techs coming in. Oh, okay. So he's opting to build scholars out of one and tech out of the other. So we have scholars just sort of slowly coming out, going to be filling up these garrison slots. And third Ghazi Raider going to be coming out here. We'll see. Looks like May is looking to do a little bit of economic damage where he can, or at least see if he can find something of use. Second military school coming down. Both switched over to Sipahi. Oh, it looks like all right. bit of a back and forth here, but he does opt for grabbing a meter for free, and very likely, I would assume after that, going to be swapping to Sipahi. But we actually have two stables coming down, and this blacksmith here going to be catching all of his military buildings in their influence. So they're going to be getting a 20 at the moment. Yeah, 20% production speed buff. It's going to help out, especially these military schools. But we do. He's looking for a raid here on this gold line, but two spearmen for the time being are definitely going to be enough to discourage anything. Okay, Ghazi Raider is going to come and try to fight off. He's definitely wants to make something happen here, but it's going to be a little bit tough with just all the military here. He's Beasty opting to just fully make sure this gold line is permanently secured by having his spearmen here hold position. But as these numbers of Ghazi Raiders build up, it might not be enough. More Ghazi Raiders on the way still. Looks like he's maybe gonna pull one injured one away, maybe just to scout around a bit. Yeah, really not too many opportunities to get damage in here for May, but we do have the Sacred Site tech done and monks on the field, already capturing two. Third monk on the way to capture that northernmost Sacred Site. This is going to push Beasty off, but we have our first engagement here. Sipahi on Ghazi Raiders. Sipahi, no one really wanted to commit there. Beasty just backs off, but he is going to just kind of keep looking around and just really wants to just push him off of these sacred sites. When Delhi is able to capture, multiple sites this early in the game and keep them, it is just a ton of passive gold. And May does manage to almost catch one of the reinforcement Sipahi coming in. So unfortunately he does not. And Beasty is going to find this scholar running away for dear life. Very likely, yeah, he's not going to be making it out of there. Meanwhile, we have our raid coming in, willing to dive the TC a little bit to try to handle, try to focus on that Sipahi, but I wonder if it would have been better to try to take out this his singular meter here. Nevertheless, we do have some scholars. Did our scholar over here get away? Yeah, he's hiding up by the stone. At the moment, actually, no sacred sites being decapped. So, yeah, this is going to be, you can see, this is a lot of passive gold for May here. Sitting at around 400 with, I don't believe anybody on gold at the moment. Yeah, so, this is kind of perfect situation in Feudal Age for Delhi. They're able to completely, effectively ignore the need for villagers on gold, which just gives him even more eco on his food and on his wood. Going on the map, going for these berries, Delhi very much wants to grab all the berries they can, as they do get quite bonus to gather rate, and increasing the amount of actual, I believe it's an extra 100 food on these berries. So they're worth a lot more for Delhi. Ghazi Raiders really doing a good job of keeping most of BC's attention and forces inside of his own base, not allowing the Sipahi to really do, what they're known for in just raiding, and they're honestly just being fantastic cavalry all around. But we do have BC starting to decap some of these sacred sites. Northern sacred site going to get decapped. Middle one as well. Bottom one is safe for the time being. But, middle, okay. Ghazi Raiders coming in, pushing off all but one, and this is gonna get decapped. Oh, Oh, he saves it in the last second. Scholar coming down wants to try to save this. I wonder if we shouldn't have actually just uh, hung around and let that one get decapped. But it looks like he just wants to keep that sacred site victory countdown going. I'm not 100% sure that's really realistic at the moment. Oh, he does manage to save the scholar. May coming in with a couple of just clutch saves here, maintaining his lead. Bottom sacred site now, definitely going to be decapped here. No army, no army to speak of, really capable here to save them. We do have House of Learning about to complete. You can see a couple of scholars coming down here. They're going to try to take these two bottom ones. Northern Relic also looking to get picked up by our 1 HP, 10 HP scholar. And we'll see if we have any other scholars looking to grab the remaining two. But we do have Beasty coming across the map, looking to do some economic damage. He does at least manage to push off the villagers from this berry patch. Bushberries before, unfortunately for Beasty, the villagers are able to get away. Ghazi Raiders really just going to try to run down and get as much damage, maybe some kills on here as they can. Oh, a couple of Sipahi get a little lost. Not sure where they wanted to go there, and he is going to lose potentially two more here. You can see the movement speed difference here with are they going to catch up? See if he targets the right ones. Looks like they do get away. All right. We have relics, 2 relics coming in from the bottom side of the map for May, as well as 1 from the north. The only safe relics at the moment are the central relics here. Imperial Armory coming out for Beasty. Pretty, again, standard build here. This is what we would expect. Armory gives lots of free siege, and it's effectively a siege military school and a couple of archery ranges coming down as well. So we should expect to see some Sipahi, Janissary, and it looks like he is opting for the Mangonel. Dealing with a lot of cavalry at the moment. We do have some men-at-arms coming in as well. May making use of the Delhi's ability to build infantry to build walls, right? All Delhi infantry are actually capable of building palisade walls. So he's just trying to wall off the center of the map, keep any of these direct route raids from this Ottoman force coming in, forcing him to go either up or down. And actually, he is going to be walling off the bottom side of the map as well. So he wants to fully secure not only this large gold, large stone, but also just the sacred site. Force, honestly, great choice here. Sipahi, Ottomans have a very mobile force. While they do, if they want to move with their backline and with their siege, they are going to have to be a little bit slower. It's only going to benefit May as he's going to be he's attempting here to force the engagements happening on the top half of the map, narrowing the amount of space that he needs to be wary of and protect. And Beasty, he's actually going to be, May's looking to just kind of wall off everything, seems like. Beasty just trying to get picks where he can, going to be able to grab maybe 1 or 2 of these Ghazis, but it looks like they are going to get away. Beasty does secure 1, I believe 2 relics, if I'm not mistaken. Or do we actually have... Where'd that 4th relic go, guys? I thought Beasty grabbed it, but it does not look to be that way. More military schools going down. Beasty does opt for the +1 military schools. That's why we're seeing a few more than normal. I believe we should have, once that one's finished, we should have 4, I believe. Yep. So 4 military schools. They're still pumping out the Sipahi. And I would kind of really just expect that to continue. Janissaries coming out, along with our first Mangonel just about to be completed. So we'll see how Beasty whether he wants to make use of this singular Mangonel or wait until he has 1 or 2 more before he starts really doing some damage here. Beasty just focusing on the top side of the map, keeping a little professional scout play by May off of these tasty little deer. And this scout is going to manage to get away, but we do have quite the walls going already up for May. It's going to be he's going to be much more comfortable sitting on 2 sacred sites, though. That's just going down to 1 right now. But if and when May is able to secure this wall here in the center of the map next to this middle sacred site, it's just going to be, more and more passive gold that he doesn't have to sacrifice villagers for and can focus on getting more of these lovely Ghazi raiders. So another, okay, Lancers as well, backing up, mixing in with these Ghazi raiders, definitely going to be a big help for fighting this cavalry heavy army here. Not too many Janissaries out and about on the field at the moment. Most of these skirmishes have been pretty much cavalry on cavalry with maybe a handful of spearmen mixed in. BC just kind of trying to take a look around, see exactly what May is doing on the other side of these walls. Lancers gonna meet the unfortunate end of these Janissaries, taking a bit of damage. Don't think he quite lost any yet, but we are definitely, losing one. Actually, this whole force here might go down now. Men-at-arms, quite a few men-at-arms actually coming to back up this force here. I do wonder, maybe just because they're a little bit tankier than spearmen not dealing with Janissaries, but okay, Sipahi's starting to go down. And May really, really wants to secure this here. He's got a lot of infantry here. I would expect him to very quickly try to fill out this wall. Meanwhile, see Ghazi Raiders sneaking in the bottom side of Beasty's base, trying to get a little bit of damage done. Realistically, hasn't gotten too much done. Only managed to get a couple of villager kills here. A Lancer sneaking around in the back of his base. Just wanted to take a look around, see. Probably just going to have him. Oh, okay. Beasty does at least suspect that there's a Lancer back here, and it looks like he is going to manage to find him. Definitely going to be losing this guy. Oof, yeah, that Janissary damage against cavalry is no joke. So he does have the Sacred Site victory going at this point in time. 9 minutes left. It's not really anything to worry about too much. Really, you don't have to worry about it until it's probably like 5 minutes or less. But that the time really can sneak up on you. So BC does need to consider decapping at this point. He still has the top side unwalled, so that would be his easiest choice here to actually protect. Now, that being said, as I speak, walls are going to be started. They will get finished pretty quickly with this amount of villagers, or excuse me, just men-at-arms, and with this amount of infantry. So we'll see which route BC decides to take. He is actually opting to wall off. Bit tired of these southern raids here, and he's going to wall off the bottom side of his base. But Ghazi are coming in just as these villagers move out. Thankfully, it's only 2, but they are very, very likely to go down here. Oh, and actually okay. Yeah, those Janissaries just shred through the cavalry here. Ghazi's not going to get a single kill. Does manage to save the villager with 2 HP. Thankfully, there's no wolves out here, though there is a random little sheep here. And our Lancers and Ghazis coming out here to the top side of the map. But Beasty pushing out with his just about the full force of his military. Going to be looking to decap one of these sacred sites, likely very soon. And we do have the first of our war elephants out on the map. Really, May definitely wants to have at least a few more before this next engagement. Set up with quite a few Springolds, actually, total of 11 Springolds. So Springolds is how it looks like May is going to be trying to counter the Sipahi forces, truly. And are they going to get this wall? No, they are not going to be able to make it through that wall before it's up. And he really needs to back off here. He's just going to be going through his horsemen here with all these Janissaries. Beasty not fully committed to pushing out and committing to a fight quite yet. 3 mangonels up and running. We'll see where he wants to take this. It looks like he might be trying to come through the middle here, but we are at 6.5 minutes. So Sacred Site's still not too much of a worry, but timer is ticking down, and he does need to consider making something happen soon. We still only have 1 war elephant out on the field. The second one is a little bit of ways away from the rest of the main force, and Beasty looking to break through the center of the map here. wall does go down with this big of a force, you're not going to have to worry too much about palisade walls. So we'll see which route. Does BC decide? Oh, he actually just decides to send a single Sipahi to the bottom side of the map, but not really going to be enough here, considering the amount of horsemen here. It's definitely going to be able to push that Sipahi off the southern map. A whole lot of scholars here looking to. Oof, okay, this is a ton of Springolds. I wonder if this is the right call. They are putting in the work, shredding through chunks of Janissary at a time, but the Sipahi did manage to flank, and they are burning through these Springolds. This is a lot of resources that have gone down here for May. That's, he does manage to push Beasty out and win the fight, but that was quite a few Springolds that went down, and he still has 8 of them. So May not afraid, actually, just pushing these Springolds out front here. A little dangerous, given, Janissaries, they are certainly not archers. They can pack a punch even against siege. We are down to 5 minutes, halfway point. Ooh, a couple of imams maybe got left behind here. Gonna go down very quickly. Down to 26 military. So BC is definitely going to have to rebuild his army and then make a push on one of these sacred sites. Not 100% sure pushing through the middle here was the right call. I really do wonder if maybe going north, even just splitting, maybe trying to split the army. There wasn't a ton of forces anywhere except for the middle, for the side of May. So he was able to quickly shift his army and meet that full force. Handful of Sipahi now looking to just try to decap the top side of the map. We'll see how May decides to respond here, whether he lets it go or not. It looks like he is just going to try to push out from this central site and flank. But I do believe this palisade is going... Gate is going to be going down. No, actually, he's just trying to double reinforce the sacred site. I wonder... Not a whole lot of units. Okay, couple of Lancers here come out. They're not going to be enough to fight off this amount of Sipahi. But they are enough to scare him off. All right, so one Sipahi going in wants to just try to sneak the decap, but that is not going to happen. This double wall now almost complete for the central sacred site. And I would... Okay, looks like Beastie switching up. Might be looking to try to burn down this damaged palisade gate here on the bottom side of the map. Try to sneak a decap down there maybe. But at the moment, time is ticking. We're down to 3.5 minutes. Still only 31 military, 16 Sipahi, 13 Janissaries. I don't know if this is going to be enough. May hasn't really opted to focus too hard on the war elephants. That might just be because, again, they are considered cavalry, and Janissaries do absolutely shred through cavalry units. They get a plus 11. Okay, Beastie running out of gold in his walled off section of his base. So he's actually going to be bringing out an outpost and mining camp. I'm going to try to start mining this gold here. I do wonder, though, if this is in fog, if this is in view. It is not. Okay. So BC might be able to sneak this for a little bit, but if May does decide to check, he will have quite a few tasty little villagers here. But Beastie does manage to break through, and it looks like he is at least going for this decap here. At the moment, these forces are definitely, I would say, in the favor of 9 Lancers, 13 Sipahi, and a Meter. I would think that's a favorable fight for Ottomans. But man, May making fantastic use of his infantry being able to build walls, just double layered up in the top and central wall here, and we are looking to start burning these down. But men-at-arms are here. They are not afraid. He is just holding his siege and elephants kind of in the center of the map, waiting to see if they need to move anywhere. Top side looks relatively safe. I honestly, probably for the rest of the game, I don't think the top is going to be what the issue is going to be. If this is a sacred site win, it looks like the bottom is where Beastie is committing. We do have Imperial Age out, and I do wonder if that was their best choice for Delhi, for May here. That really hampers his ability to continue to push out military. I think, 2 minutes left. Honestly, I think there really was an option here, a potential here for a sacred side victory. But May decides not to fully commit and just wait for that. Instead, he decides to give up the sacred site in favor of a massive, truly military lead here. We're just about even in military now, but we do have to consider 25 supply of that is scholars. But we have all of our veteran upgrades, I just believe, finished. Just about all of them. We have our tier 3 military armor, melee, or excuse me, attack and armor upgrades coming out for Delhi. This is going to be a very rough. Yeah, elite lancers are in. Elite spearmen are in. This is going to be a bit of a rough spot now for Beasty. Sipahi are fantastic units, but are Castle Age Sipahi going to be able to put a fight up against elite lancers? I do not think so. That being said, there are a ton of Janissaries here, and they most certainly are going to be able to do some damage. We'll see what May decides to do here now. He has a huge economic advantage. Beasty, not quite there. Still maybe a minute or so away if he opts for no additional military here to get to Imperial, which it does look like he's doing. Not too far away now from Imperial, but it's still got a couple of minutes before any of those upgrades can reasonably start coming in. May just kind of hurting a little bit on the economic side or military account side, but he does manage to get almost all of these villagers that were mining this gold vein. And at the moment, this is Beasty's only source of gold. So he is forced to, he does have to continue producing military as May just has this large military strength advantage. And unfortunately, there's at the moment, I don't believe any gold coming in for him. You can see that gold per minute very quickly dwindling and dropping down as he's fully forced off of that. One brave villager, 11 hit points, does Garrison hide himself in this outpost, but this thing is going down very quickly with this amount of lancers here. And a handful of more war elephants. I wonder if May is going to continue pushing for more Springolds. They definitely have been working out for him in these battles here, but I wonder if the middle is the best choice for May to push through. Lancers, yeah, okay, he doesn't lose, only going to lose one or two at most. He does manage to just destroy that outpost, and yeah, Beasty's going to have to come out here and defend this. He's just not going to be able to age up otherwise, unless he wants to start swapping resources around with the market, which I don't even believe we have at the moment. We do have a second town center though, so Beasty may be looking to just kind of gain what eco advantage he can. I don't believe there's a second TC. Nope. Great Bombard doing what damage it can, but that thing is almost dead. Only 74 hit points. He might want to consider repairing that. Although the Lancers are dead. Actually, I completely missed that. Yeah. So BC did manage to clean up those 14 Lancers. Honestly, great benefit. I wonder if Mabel considered replenishing that, but he is actually bringing his own hand cannoneers to the fight now. Ooh, and a couple of mangonels gonna get caught out. These war elephants, his army is a little bit too split here. This front line is gonna go down very quickly. First elephant goes down, but we do have a real backline between the hand cannoneers and Springolds. I just don't know if May has the front line to protect this at the moment. There's a lot of units for Beasty here, and they do okay. Beasty's front line going down, but Ottoman siege is no joke, and there's quite a lot of it. Beasty does manage to hold for now. And May just says, I don't have to destroy your walls here. I'm just going to make my own right in front of yours. Really not too much economically for Beasty to take here at the moment anymore. Beasty at the moment is really getting starved out for resources. He has plenty of, he has plenty of wood still. Well transitioned into farms. Definitely going to need more. There's really no food on the map for him outside of farms at the moment. Um, there's a bit more deer for May, but we do see both players, well into their farm transition. Uh, the benefit though is for May is that he has every gold patch on the map is within his walls, except for this singular one. The Beasty looks like he's gonna try to build a bunch of stone. Likely, very likely wants to keep, but May actually already well ahead of him. Getting this keep up and running very soon is going to completely deter all of these villagers. BC just wants to snag this. He wants to snag enough for at least one keep before it's before he doesn't have a chance to. But Gazi Raiders are here. He still might get enough. This is a ton of villagers. Does he grab enough? He might just take a market and buy the rest. Not quite enough. He needs 800 or 900, excuse me. So still about 300 short. And this keep is up. Sacred sites are recaptured. This is a rough situation for BC to be in. Just the sheer amount of map control that May has at the moment is just putting him in a really tough position resource-wise. May has done a very effective job at just slowly choking the resources out of Beasty, forcing him to just use up all what little he had. This gold vein, he's only gotten a little over half of it. We do have another engagement happening here. May kind of just sacrificing this frontline here again. I'm not exactly sure why he opted for that fight when his army is still a lot of his army was still coming back in to replenish. And BC just having to just scrounge up whatever he can. Ooh, we'll see. Is he going to be able to finish it here? Mangonel's on the other side of the wall, going to be able to get some good damage in here. Oof, chunking down these Janissaries. I just don't know if it's enough. There's no Springolds left. There's truly very little military on the side for May here. I think he's just kind of repeatedly losing it. It doesn't. He really should have a bigger army than this. Sitting at about a 20 worker advantage with a total of 50 workers at this point killed, and there is the GG from Beasty. Well played to May. Fantastic control of the map, control of the tempo for May for pretty much the entire game. He was able to keep those sacred sites for most of the game, force a Beasty into a really disadvantageous positions just to try to keep that counter from going down. That big fight in the center of the map in feudal was probably kind of the first real turning point. Start of the downhill turn for Beasty there, but GG to both players. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Combat Clash. If you are itching for another round, take a look at some of our recent clashes just over to your left. And of course, if you would like to see more of this content, do be so kind as to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. So long, and I will see you tomorrow for another round of Combat Clash.